Welcome to Deals, Dreams, and Drama, where the hustle meets the heart and the stories get real.
We are four women who live and breathe real estate, entrepreneurship, motherhood, and the beautiful chaos that comes along with it.
Each month, we'll share what's really happening behind the deals, the dreams we're chasing, and yes, the drama in between.
So I'm Brandy Williams, born and raised in Greensboro, North Carolina. Been in Charlotte since 2011, and I have a 3-year-old son who is ripping and running and chasing me, and I'm chasing him. And I've been in real estate. This is my 9th year, and I've had a lot of drama, a lot of dreams, and a lot of chaos.
Yes, so I am Sharika Dyer. I am a wife, mom of 2 boys, 17 and 15 years old, who are very active in sports. I'm a retired Air Force veteran. I've been a realtor for 6 years here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And man, I tell you, I wanted the experience, and here I am with all of the chaos.
My name is Miranda Solomon, and I'm a native of Charlotte. I have been a realtor for the last 10 years. My dad was a real estate agent in Charlotte for 30 years prior to that. And I have 2 daughters, Jameson and Cameron, and they keep me very busy as well. And I'm also married to Brian, and it's a beautiful chaos between the business and family life.
I am Keisha Johnson. I grew up in Greensboro, North Carolina. I've been in Charlotte since 1999, moved to Houston in 2015, and then back in Charlotte. So I'm licensed in both states, and I do business. I am a mom of 2, Michael Johnson and Kennedy. So Michael's on our team in Houston, and I'm here just to discuss all the chaos that is the dream that we call real estate.
So let's talk about what caused us to start this podcast. It started off with an idea where we really just wanted to talk about real women in real estate and the reality of being an entrepreneur, being a mother, and working through relationships of all types. And then it expanded from there.
Right. And kind of talking a little bit, making it a little bit different than what we see everywhere else, right? Without all the glitz and glam, because people think this is a very pretty job, and a lot of times it's not as pretty as you think it is.
Yeah, and not to mention, we started off as accountability partners and wanting to keep each other accountable, because sometimes that's really hard in this business, being accountable from day to day. So,
Right, because we have the freedom, right?
yes.
We got into this business for the freedom.
Yes.
But no, and also we just have different perspectives. Everybody's at a different point in their life, different ages for the kids and all of that, and different relationships. So we came together to blend all of our experience, and also so that we can grow together.
That's right.
Yes, absolutely.
So we're going to talk a little bit about what each one of us brings to the table, because again, we're all in the same industry, but we all do this business differently, right?
Absolutely.
Like I mentioned before, I'm a native of Charlotte. There are many, many realtors in Charlotte, and there are many realtors that are natives of Charlotte. When I got into the business 10 years ago, I decided to make that the thing that was going to differentiate me.
Mm-hmm.
Does it really matter? I don't know, but my clients think it does. My clients think it does. So I do bring quite a bit of knowledge on the Charlotte market to the table, right? My dad was a realtor for a long time, so I've been in these streets for a very, very long time. And I think that does give me a different perspective sometimes when I'm helping clients, especially relocation clients.
So for me, I'm very big on strategy. I'm your checklist girl. I like things to go in order.
Oh, she did.
And so I bring that to my clients. I'm a very much, hey, here's step A, here's B, here's C. And sometimes, we have to skip from A to D, and that's okay. I can make adjustments, but that's really my big thing, is the strategy behind the plan. Because I feel like there's always the plan to buy or to sell, or to invest or whatever, but what's the strategy behind that? And then I'm really big on education. I have a master's in adult education. I love to help people and help them to learn something new. And that's really big for me. Actually, before I got my real estate license, I took the real estate class in order to buy my first house. So that's how much I want to be educated.
That is very
That sounds very Brandy-ish. That says a lot, though.
And what I bring to the table, and I mentioned in my intro that I am a retired Air Force veteran. I always talk about that, and prior to moving to Charlotte I purchased 2 homes, right? And each experience was a little different. And I felt maybe the realtor that I was dealing with at the time didn't really understand my position. And so that made me lose a lot of money. And if you know me as a person, I don't play about several things, but my money is one of them. And so it really encouraged me to understand the business, get into the business. I have my master's in HR, so also educating and helping people coming from a 20-year career is like, that's what I love to do. Mm-hmm. And so if you notice, a lot of my clientele are retired veterans or just veterans overall. So still educating and still serving the community like I enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm. And I think I kind of got into real estate because things just changed for me when I moved to Houston. I had talked about it for a while, and it just happened. And I think what I bring to the table is I'm an ex-risk person, right? I came from the banks and corporate audit, and so I'm always trying to make sure that my clients are taking the path that has the least risk, right? I am your compliance, your contract person. I know the Texas and the North Carolina contracts inside and out, making sure our clients don't lose money. And then I'm also big on education. Like, sometimes I don't know if you guys feel like this, it kind of comes back and smacks me a little bit because I've over-educated clients and over-discussed things with them. But I feel like when you know what you're doing and know what you're walking into, you have less buyer's remorse later. Yes. So I do think that is kind of what I bring to the table. Of course, like I said, 2 kids and an empty nester. So I've gone through a few stages in life with real estate. And so I can also share those experiences with my client, whether it's moving to a whole nother state across the country, or going through a divorce, or being a single mom, or relocating back to a city that, you have a huge fear. So I kind of incorporate that into my business as well.
Right, because that's what makes real estate move, right? It's the life changes, like you mentioned. When did you realize that real estate was not just about selling houses, but it was more about the people that we serve?
I think it was year 2. I think the first year, you're just kind of trying to figure it out, trying to get some business. And I think once you start getting a few clients under your belt, then you start saying, oh, wait a minute, this has nothing to do with the house.
Right.
Right? It really doesn't. People are making a big purchase, but a lot of times there's a lot of other pieces to the puzzle that you really need to kind of peel back to understand where you're taking them and, what they need to do. I don't know about you guys, but I think we spend way more time being psychiatrists.
Yes. Absolutely.
Then we are agents, right? And so again, that I think it was year 2, once you start being like, okay, you gotta talk people through it and let them know that you're relatable too, right? Because you can't just be this cold agent, because you gotta be able to relate to them,
Yeah, for sure. And I think for me, it was when I decided to become a full-time agent, which was probably year 2 at that point. And just really getting out in the field and saying, wow, like dealing with different people and having every transaction is not the same. And we all know that.
9 years in and no transaction is ever the same.
And I always laugh because I was like, I was nervous coming into real estate because I'm coming from a 20-year career where I was considered a subject matter expert. And jumping into real estate as a new agent in a new city. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh man, God, let me be a subject matter expert. And I promise you, by the end of that year, I was like, I feel like I have experience.
But are we ever subject matter expert? We always have a lot of advice, but I don't know if we're ever.
But I don't think so. But I do feel that I have been through enough situations where I can
to know better
and to do better. Mm-hmm. So I would also say it was year 2 where I said it got real.
Mm-hmm. So for me, a little bit different. I came out of retail, and I sold mattresses. So when somebody comes in a store that only sells mattresses, to buy a mattress, it's not about the product. It's about the aches and pains. It's about the price. It's about who's it for. Right. So when I came in, I had a good understanding that it wasn't about the house. I had a good understanding of the questions to ask and, the scripting to go into it. However, the price of a mattress and the price of a house very different.
Yes.
So,
Different things.
so that was the adjustment for me was, okay, I know that we have to dig deeper. And for me, it also, I think I had to work on not pouring too much of myself into the situation.
There you go.
And that's why I do business how I do now, because like, hey, it is very much about you, but it's also about what you're willing to tell me to be able to help you.
Right.
But yeah, it was year one for me, just from prior retail experience.
And I think it was year one for me too. I came from a logistics background, worked for a logistics company for 18 years, and I felt like what we did was move widgets. That's what we did. And I literally got out of that because I felt like I was not affecting change for anybody. I was like, I'm brokering deals between two corporations. So if something happens to me, I don't know if anybody really cares because these two corporations are still going to do business. When I came into real estate, I started to realize that number one, we have three basic needs: food, water, and shelter. We sell one of the three basic needs, right? People have to have a house, which is why people get emotional about it,
Yes.
which is why we have to be able to keep our emotions between the lines and understand that, you know what, like you said, this is your decision, and I want you to make the best decision for you based on the information that you have available to you, right? But my emotions have to stay out of it. So I noticed that, you know, that is why people are getting super duper emotional. I noticed that, you know, it's not about the house. It's about, you know, my kids just graduated. It's not about the house. It's my baby was just born. It's not about the house. It's somebody just passed away and we need to properly dispose of this asset, right? But then the other piece that made me think that this is really about the people is that real estate is an industry that has super low barriers to entry. You guys all mentioned that you have master's degrees. I don't know that is standard in real estate. It certainly does not happen.
Very true. Very
Because
true.
you can get licensed as a real estate agent at 18 years old, right? And that's a life-changing decision, by the way. If you're 18 and you're watching this, get licensed. But if you do get licensed at 18, you can go out and handle people buying and selling the most expensive asset that they're going to own. And that to me is also a people thing, right? Because I've seen real estate change the lives of people who came into this business, including myself, to sell, you know, help people buy and sell. So I think it's a people business, not only because of what we do and how we help people, but it's also a people business because look at all of us, right? Everybody's got a different background and all that, but we could just as easily be sitting here with an 18-year-old.
For sure.
I mean, your daughter could be a licensed real estate agent, right?
That's not where I thought you were going with that. I thought you was about to pull in because we're all coming from different stages of life and different experience that, you know, it's not like being in a corporate job where everybody has this education to make smart decisions, right? I thought you were going to go into the drama. I thought you
I was going to get there with the shade.
I thought you were going to be there with the shade, right? But you didn't. You held it together. So, I mean, that's why I was so intrigued because I was like, this is not where I thought it was going.
That is so funny. Well, I was going to let her finish and then I was going to say, this has been all so great. So listen, let's talk about what success really looks like for you right now.
Who are you for?
What is success? I think, Sharika, we talked about this though, yeah, just yesterday, right?
We did talk about this.
We don't have, but success for me in real estate doesn't necessarily come with 600 transactions, a 30-person team, you know. It comes from just being able to know my why I do this, and being able to properly assist my clients in one of the biggest transactions of their life, right? And so, of course, we want to make money with it. But again, I feel like to be a successful agent, you need to be, like you said, as much of a subject matter expert as we can. We can never be that because things are always changing. Every deal is different.
Yes.
But you need to be some kind of a subject matter expert where people do trust you. And I feel like there's some agents that they're worried about these numbers, being successful with these big numbers, and the client gets lost in the shuffle. So I think being successful is being able to do my job well and help our clients fulfill whatever that dream is, right? Rather it's their first time, their downsize, their upsize, their investment property. And like I said, you know what my why is to be successful, right? I'm doing this. This is going to fit this bucket, not necessarily a like number. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would agree. I think success looked different in year 1 than it did in year 5 than it does in year 9.
That's right.
And that's totally fine. I mean, we're always growing and changing and evolving, so that's kind of how it's supposed to be. For me, success looks like freedom with my time.
That's right.
Being a single mother of a little brown boy in these United States of America, I want to be as present as possible for everything that he has going on. So we're getting into sports now. Yes, at 3 years old, and it's a whole thing. But then also like being able to sit down and let's practice our handwriting. Let's go through our numbers, and me not having to take a call or having to do these things. So I think what's most important right now has been being successful with the parts of the day where he's not there, so that I can be present in the parts of the day where he is there. And that wasn't the case before. Like, hey, I can make calls at 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock, or do paperwork at those times because I didn't have to worry about entertaining anybody else. But now it's like, all right, let me get the hard part of my day done before I go pick him up, so I can be fully present. And that, if I'm fully present with him, that is successful to me in all things.
I would agree. Yeah, I could definitely be more present. I feel like that's kind of a balancing act or a counterbalancing act constantly, because I do take calls after 6 o'clock. I was out showing houses last night until almost 9 o'clock, and I think that I could do a better job of that. But I think for me, the successful part of it is the lessons and actually being present for those lessons, right? So like, I was showing houses last night at 9 o'clock. I don't need to do that again, right? It happens.
That's what you learned yesterday.
Listen, friends, this is a constant learning opportunity.
10 years and you learned that
Yesterday, because no, for real, we can't let everybody's emergency be our emergency.
That's right.
So I can't necessarily be like, yeah, I'll go show houses an hour away because you don't get off until 5 o'clock. Because buying a house is a priority for you too.
Yeah.
Right? So, again, learning all the time, but and the question for me is, but did you learn?
Yeah.
Because if I turn around and do it again, then I didn't. And I think that there's also lessons in how we split up our time for our families. Like you said, you mentioned, if I'm more accountable and focused during the day, then that allows me to be freed up so that I can be the best that I can be for my daughters and for my husband, right? So that's what success looks like to me, just trying to balance it and learning the lessons. And the other thing I'll say about success is that we're always learning, because 10 years in this business, and I bought an investment property last year, and it was the wrong investment. It was the wrong investment. But at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, I do look back and say, but did you die though? Because it's like, we got through it.
I think that's a future episode though, right? Because I think when people are getting to investments, they just think there's this recipe.
Yeah.
And you are succeeding and learning by failure, right?
Absolutely.
And even we help investors buy properties all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You and Sharika last year. Sharika, yours still taking you out, ain't it?
Girl, mine's still taking me out. They have
Listen. Right? And I mean, that's not to be shady, but it is a learning experience. No matter how many times you sell it, no matter how many times you give people advice on it.
Right.
Yes. That's what I mean. We can never be a true subject matter expert,
Right.
because everything's changing.
No, absolutely. And I'm going to piggyback off of Brandy and Miranda with being present, because I think that's what is important to me. So year 1, year 2, I was focused on the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I need to close this many deals by all means necessary. And when I say all means necessary. Listen, it needed to happen. And once I did it consistently, I was like, okay, my family was taking the biggest sacrifice. And I feel like I retired, and we were on an ongoing cycle, meaning like, it was like, hey guys, once I make this rank, and I retire, we'll have more time together. Well, here I am in real estate, wanting to be more flexible and not being as flexible because I'm wanting to reach those numbers. So right now, in this day where I'm 44 years old, success looks to me of being present to my boys and my husband, and that's showing up to games, that is answering questions, dancing with Nazir when he wants to dance and have his little fits, and making sure that I'm there for my oldest son.
Just creating that flexibility for you. That
that flexibility we thought we were doing year one.
Yes, that's
It
exactly.
took you 5 years to create
Yes.
flexibility.
Yes.
And that thing. And for me, I'm an empty nester, right? So I have to tell
You gonna
myself.
keep letting us know that?
We know every Thursday. Every Thursday. We can tell you
Today. All my business. So, but I say that because even for me now, I have to remind myself, don't go back into old habits.
Yes.
Don't go back into working all day, all night, just because you don't have those kids in the house, right? So it's a never-ending kind of cycle of learning and managing real estate.
And
Based on
managing your
lifestyle.
time.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so success for me is being present with the people that I should be present with. Because guess what? Once it's all said and done, they're going to be the ones that sit there front and center for us, right?
Listen, it's so real.
clapping the hardest.
Clapping the hardest.
So, question.
The drama.
The drama.
We are here for the drama.
Okay.
The drama.
So look, it says it right there on the paper. Who's bringing the drama?
Oh, well, y'all know I got some.
Who's bringing the
I
drama
almost
today?
feel like we should start with the one she fought about. Fought for.
What is the you get to fight for your limitations? You fought.
Listen.
Miranda just learned a lesson just recently.
Lessons will be learned.
You know, look, talking about the drama in real estate, everybody is not your client. And that is okay.
That's true.
And people will give you cues to let you know that that they're not your client. I recently had a deal, and honestly, I'm being funny, but because these were great people, obviously. But it was a deal that I fought for in that they told me another agent, and they told me the agent's name was interviewing for the job of listing their house. And so I came in with my A+ game.
A++.
Plus, okay, and of the class game that day. And I had my stuff, but long story short, I did win the listing, and it came with a lot more,
A lot of chaos.
a lot of less chaos and lessons and drama. But it was, but you know what? But did you die though? So I got through it. And we did close, but I got through it, and there was a little bit of trickery afoot and all kinds of things that are going on. Because as we mentioned before, sometimes the drama in the deals is because of the life events that are happening.
And that's what it was, right?
Yeah, there's a divorce, there's feelings and emotions, and sometimes that stuff can take over the deal. And it's literally our job to just stay focused.
Bring it
on the
back
mission.
to-
Let's bring it back to center. So
And
that
I think that's what Sharika's point has always been, right? We see red flags. Like
We do.
we see red flags going in.
Yes,
And
we do.
sometimes you either need to start figuring out early how you're going to manage the red flag, or is this red flag for you, right? I mean, typically you going into a situation, one person ain't present to sell a house, they come in the red flags be there, but we keep going, and those flags get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then we just praying to get the deal closed.
Yeah, right? You in the group chat. You the subject of the group chat.
Now it's the subject of the
And
group chat.
hence why we're here, right?
Right.
exactly.
When all the glitz and glam is gone.
But now I'm not the only one with crazy stuff going on.
Well,
I'm not the only one with crazy stuff going on.
I always have some crazy stuff going on. So what? I will tell y'all saved me on Saturday because I was on 29 hot, ready to go off. The try before you buy.
Mm-hmm.
Because the drama is not always the client.
It is not
It's
always
Not always
Wait a
the client.
60% of the time, the drama is the agent.
Yep.
It's the
Keep the emotions
agent.
between the lines.
Correct. And they're not 18, by the way. They've been in the business. How long has she been in the business?
18 years.
18 years. They're so quick to tell you.
And another piece of that is staying humble, right? Because it's like, well, check my numbers, and and I'm.
And we can check numbers.
Well, check
Everybody can.
right. But then it's like, and you go back and you check the numbers, and it's almost like, well, man, I should have checked this on the phone because I should have said check my numbers.
Right.
But it's definitely not always. We all have the chaos and we all have the drama. And I think it's controlling those emotions when we're going through things, and how do we control them? And like I said, you all have been wonderful to me because.
Yeah. was gonna say no, because I mean we have to talk each other off the ledge,
Mhm.
right? Because like I said, if I'm sitting here thinking about it and everything that's been going on the last 3 to 4 months,
Mhm.
most of the drama has been the agent.
Mhm.
I mean, it really has been the agent. And so it's amazing when people say each agent is not created equal.
Mhm.
That's the realest of the real.
Mhm.
And agents can lose you money, right? And so we have to protect our clients against that as well, right? Because if they not caring nothing about their clients' money, you know they ain't caring nothing about our clients' money. So,
And I think the goal that we all have is to get to close and collect.
Yeah.
Like, that should always be the goal.
and that was what's wrong with your transaction. They wanted to put all the risk
Mhm.
on your client and possibly not even get to a closing table,
Yeah.
right? Like,
It's very real.
it was, I mean, that was real.
Shenanigans.
Again, and if you didn't know what you knew, you might have thought that was okay.
Yeah.
Well, and it could be going back to maybe looking me up and say, well, she's only been an agent for 6 years. And but I think people lose the fact that I feel newer agents, we're doing pretty well right now.
I don't even think 6 years is a new agent.
I
I
don't
mean, I
know.
don't think it's
Not in
But
real
but
estate.
compared
Not in
to
real estate.
18, you know,
Compared
that's where it's like,
18,
oh,
yeah.
well, I've been at 18 or whatever. I also think though, in the current state of the market, agents are getting greedy because it's not falling in their laps like it was before. So now it's like, let me peek behind the curtain and see what I can do to get away with something.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, you know, it could be the agents, could be their clients suggesting that they do certain things, but you
I don't think
definitely
that
have
client
to
would
be on
have
top
known
of
that
it.
though. I don't think that client would have known we could have tried before we buy until somebody told them that. But for real, right? I think you just said something that makes so much sense. It's definitely the market. And the market is 150% exposing agents who do not know what they are doing. I made that a Facebook post recently, right? Like, the market is exposing you. This is not somewhere we can just throw up a listing and it's gone overnight because we're going to take it with the hole in it and everything. You have to be able to manage the deal all the way through. Every single step of the way right now.
Yeah, and so much of that is just communicating, right? And I
Right.
think if I'm really looking at the industry as a whole, I think that the issue is it's not a lack of education, it's not a lack of business acumen necessarily, it's a lack of effective communication skills. Because when you get an offer as an agent and you don't respond, look at me. When you get seriously in this market, right? In this market where homes are sitting forever, and you get an offer and no response for over 24 hours, it makes me wonder, like, is it me and you? Like, is it communication?
Yes, and that's the crazy thing. We all have had that recently, right?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, I had 2 going at one time. It took us 8 days one time to get a contract signed for your listing that's been on the market 200 and something days.
And they're not talking to you to let you know what is going on. You just
Yeah.
go dark.
Yeah.
You go dark.
Because a
Like,
lot of
use
times
your words.
people will say, you know, no response is a response.
Right, that's true.
Some people say,
It might not work
That's
the way that you thought it was going to work with the no response. And then there's other pieces in between too, because what I found is an agent can send you an offer. I love for an agent, all agents, please, advice. When you send an offer, send a quick text to confirm that it was received. Now, if they don't respond to a text, that's a little bit different, but I've had offers that have been in La La Land, or they missed a letter in my name or things like that. So again, it's the professional part of like making sure that you're doing everything to put your client in the best possible position.
Absolutely. So I will piggyback on that and just ask, like, so what do you think? We all can agree that we service our clients at a high level, right? What do you think that makes us a little different? What are we bringing to service our clients at that level?
I think communication is first. Education, communication, getting to know your client, because sometimes just knowing their story, why they're doing this, and also their best form of communication, right? I also think that agents are sometimes afraid to have the hard conversation, and they do a lot of texting. I'm not when there's something that we need to get done, we're picking up the phone and having a conversation. We're jumping on the Zoom. We're doing a face-to-face. right? Because you need to be able to, because sometimes when people can, they with text and just like a call, you can't sometimes feel people's emotions for sure. And so I think that's kind of what we bring to the table from a high level standpoint, like really understanding that. And like I said, that communication, the education are key.
I think this group, along with what you said, I think having other agents that you can talk with is so important for the client, because maybe I haven't run into it, but you have, or you have. And it's like, hey, what about this? So it's having somebody to bounce ideas off of. Real estate is really, it's an individual sport that's a community need.
You definitely have to have a tribe,
You have
right?
to have a tribe, yeah.
And the tribe and having the people, what you were saying, is more important, because sometimes we're ready to give up. I mean, there's definitely been deals that we are ready to give up. Me, Miranda's been there, right? And we'd be like, come on, Miranda. Come on, Keisha.
It's not
let's
the
pull it
deal.
back
Is it the
together.
deal or before you get to the deal? No,
Sometimes
it's
it's both.
sometimes
Sometimes it's both. I'll be like, come get them.
Yeah.
Come get this spot. But you know what? The thing is, I'll tell y'all this. I don't know if y'all know this, but y'all are part of my value proposition.
Yes.
I tell my clients, I mastermind with 3 industry leaders in this city every day, so that we can talk about what's going on in this market, right? So in addition to bringing all of the wealth of knowledge that y'all provide,
The
I appreciate
game.
A++. That's where I got my A++. No, but no, the other thing, getting back to how do we serve our clients at the highest level is, for me, it's empathy. Because some of the times that you've had to talk me off the ledge and be like, now don't just give up on her, don't let her go. Sometimes it is tapping back into that empathy and saying, this is a big deal for them, right? And sometimes when it comes down to that $5,000 on negotiations, it comes down to that $10,000 on negotiation, I'm like, it's $10,000, what is the problem? But I have to remember.
$550. You got big numbers. We know it ain't always about
Sometimes it's $750. It's been some low numbers, and I've had to come back to that empathy and say, this person is making the best decision for them with the information that they have. And if I can bring it back there and say, so I'm gonna move forward, right, with faith and trust. And if this works out, it works out, and if it doesn't, it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be for me, and it wasn't meant to be for them. And that's not me saying that I don't have a hand in it, because I still want to make sure that I'm giving all my clients the best information so that they can make a good decision. But sometimes it's just not going to work out.
And it's
And then I
about
have
keeping
to-
your emotions in line.
And releasing the judgment.
Yes.
Because sometimes we can get in a place of, judgment, even for the client. Not that I would ever do that out loud, but sometimes they're telling me things and I'm just like, what now? Like,
Right.
what happened? And so sometimes being able to take a step back and just say, look, at the end of the day, they need to sell this house. How they got here doesn't matter.
Yes.
What happened? They gave me a lot more information than I needed, and I wish they hadn't. But just have empathy for the fact that they are having to move, and that is one of the biggest and most stressful things that you can do in your life.
That's right.
Yeah. So just being empathetic.
And with empathy, I think that it's also, it's one of those things where we do this every day.
Right.
Yes.
So it's also
Several
bringing
times a
yourself back several times a day, right? It's bringing yourself back to, this is their first home purchase.
Yes.
Or this is the second time they've sold a home over a 20-year span, and things have changed, the industry has changed, people have changed, like everything has changed. And so remembering, well, I do this every day, and 750 is you're like 750? But 750 is a lot to that first time home.
In that moment.
For
In-
sure.
in
In that moment.
yeah.
And that's why it's good to be able to step away and give people time to self-soothe.
Yes.
Honey, we know we got a self-soothing master over here.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to give them that time to really think about it, because sometimes people just want to win. They really just want to win
And
a
be
lot
right.
and want to be
Right.
right.
Yeah.
And then once they kind of calm down, they're like, oh, but if I don't take this deal,
Yeah.
what is the consequence? What's on the other side? Am I gonna be mad next week because I'm still having to do showings, because I'm still out buying houses? And sometimes it's just that, right? Taking a step back, pulling your emotions together, and giving them time, like I said, to self-soothe, because sometimes it is just $750. They want to win. They got to be like, okay, is winning more important?
Right.
Right? So, I mean, Sharika recently had a deal like that, right? Where we kept saying, give her some time. Let's see.
And you know what? Once again, I'm glad I spoke to you all because I was ready to respond quickly. So I'm normally a quick responder. Okay.
Quick. Okay.
I'm changing.
Growing.
I am growing and I am
learning.
growing
And
and learning. And when I presented the offer, though there were 64 other homes on the market, my client
In the neighborhood.
in the neighborhood, correct. You got that right. In a niche neighborhood at that.
Correct.
So she was, no, I do not want to take this offer. I am not going to do it. And you all encouraged me to go back and talk to her because I was going to pack my papers up and roll out and come off the market the next day.
But not just go back and talk to her, give her some
time.
That's right. Give her some time.
Yeah.
Because it was emotional.
It was. And when I gave her time, she came back and she accepted the offer, and here we are under contract closing in under 30 days. So sometimes it is giving folks time to just, like you said, self-soothe and deal with having empathy.
Yeah, and we have to not be so quick to respond.
Right.
Because we get the
The
text.
queen of not quick to respond.
Yeah, well, I know you know.
Baby, right there.
I know you know. But we do. We get a text, and sometimes it feels like I gotta tell them right now. And it's like you really don't. And there's really, I think somebody told me my first day there was no emergencies in real estate, and I still believe that. And I get a little Denzel Washington with my clients because sometimes I'm like, well, do you want to be right or do you want to be sold?
Because we need to leave
Yes.
here with something.
Because I'm leaving here with something. I'm leaving here with something.
Yes. So as you all can tell, we are just getting started, and we are so excited for you all to follow our journey.
Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and like and subscribe so that you can know when the next episode is coming out.
And we want to hear from you. So if there's any topics that you want to hear, send those in so that we can talk about that. And until then, keep chasing your dreams and learning from the drama.
Until next time.
Bye.